You're doing well and ready for another mindful movement session. We can take this next hour to relax down, get some good mobilization in, and set ourselves right for the rest of the week. So, as always, let's get ourselves started in a nice comfortable position. If you need to adjust yourself or whatever that is, feel free to do so. And then whenever you're ready to, let's start some breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Relax down where you are, keep that breath going. And if you haven't already, over the next couple of breaths, let's start to close down those eyes and focus inwards on the breathing. Just focus breathing in, breathing out. Breathe through that there, nice, gentle, easy breaths. Inflate those lungs up, feel the chest lift as you do so, and the shoulders naturally expand out a little bit. And as you breathe out, let them come down those shoulders, relax down into your position a little bit more. Just cycle through that, noticing how the breath is affecting your body, noticing the impact on you. Nice, easy, controlled breaths. That's going to start to relax that nervous system down and bring that focus in. Now we're in that much more relaxed state. Let's first of all thank ourselves for being here today. Thank ourselves for turning up. As we always say, turning up is often the hardest part of the session. So well done for doing it today. And if you're being consistent with it consistently over the last few weeks, and hopefully the weeks to come as well. So thank yourself for that. And also let's remind ourselves that in this next hour, we don't need to worry about what's come before us today, what's happening after this session. All we need to focus on is the here and now, being present in the moment and focusing on our breathing, our movements, or whatever else that we end up doing today in the session. That's all your focus needs to be. Everything else will be there once we finish, but this is here now, so let's focus on that. Keep that breathing going, but as you do so, you can start to open up your eyes, and as you breathe in now, let's squeeze those shoulders up towards the ears, and as you breathe out, relax down. Just repeat through that in your own time, in your own breath. Nice, easy, controlled movements. As you breathe in, that's how long it takes you to squeeze those shoulders up. As you breathe out, relax them down. Doesn't have to be in time with me, just in time with your own breath. That's helping to get some blood pumping in that area, sending the nutrients it needs, sending the hydration that it needs as well. I certainly need this after about 37 hours of traveling over the weekend to get from Japan to the UK. I'm certainly feeling the effects of it, especially in the shoulders and the neck area as well, which we'll be looking at later on. That going there. Good. Now instead of going up and down with our breaths, let's go forwards with the shoulders as we breathe out. As we breathe in, bring them back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. I'll turn to the side. You can see it from there. So as you breathe out, we push it forwards. As we bring in, bring them back, squeeze them together. And go back and forth between the two. Keeping that going there. Extend them forwards and back the best you can as you're doing that breathing. And And now let's move into some rotations with our shoulders. So keep the breathing going, nice, normal, controlled. But as we do so, let's rotate those shoulders around the best that you can do. Sometimes this rotating the shoulder around is going to feel great. Sometimes it's going to feel a bit awkward. Sometimes a bit tight in one side or the other. Just adjust as necessary. Flow through it, nice, easy movements. And I say that especially because one side of my shoulders is particularly aching. So I need to just be a little bit more careful on that side. And not overdo it. I don't want to put any extra strain or stress on there. It's all about relaxing it down, helping it to move easier. That's the important thing with all of these movements and breathing that we do in this session. It's more about the outcome rather than the specific movement itself. If there's something you can't do, like ever, that's fine. We do the best version of it we can. If there's certain things you can do on some days and not on others, that's also fine. We just do the best we can to get the best outcome we can from the session. Let's change direction with those shoulders, going backwards now. And our outcome mostly is to be more relaxed, more mobile, more flexible, and overall have a better sense of control over our mobility within our body. Good. Okay, let's get those shoulders rotating a little bit more by putting the hands up onto them and getting the elbows going round. And as always with this, we've done this before, so we can do both arms together. Or if you prefer to, you can do just one arm, maybe do a couple and then switch over. Or you can just alternate one and then the other. Whatever feels good to you here, just getting it going around. And we do the same direction, whichever one you started here. And I'll let you know when we change. Just getting it going around there. Don't worry about locking your hands in one position. They can float and glide all over the shoulder joint there. Go around the best you can. Even if you can't get as big a circles as I can, you can just do smaller versions. As I said, it's more about the outcome than getting it right. Doing any sort of rotation here, no matter how small it is going to help mobilize those shoulders. And that is much more important to get them moving, get them flowing, than it is to get it perfect. Okay, let's change direction and get them going around the other way. Again, you can do double arm, single arm a couple of times on one side and then the other, or just one side if that's all you got available to you. Or we can sort of alternate it around a little bit like so. I'll leave that up to you. Body's a little bit extra spasmy today, for lack of a better word. So you see me just interesting dance moves halfway through the session, you'll know what's happening. Not trying to get on the Australian breakdancing team. Just getting some muscle spasms. Okay, let's open that up, shoulder up a little bit more by getting the arm going right the way around in a circle the best we can. And it's just sort of puts just a little bit of extra stretching on the chest as we go back, shoulders as we come round, and just nice, slow, controlled movements, and extend this, not necessarily the best you can, but get it so you're feeling a bit of a stretch all the way through the range of motion. Let's change direction with that arm there. Moving around the best that we can do. Let's change over to the other side, get on going round. Nice easy movements. And change direction. And going back into our shoulder rotations just to ease out of that there. Change direction. Good, okay, so this next one, you can either do a single arm or double arm, depending on your level of balance mainly. We reach forwards the best we can, and then reach back to open up the chest. Now, the reason I'm not reaching very far forwards, side forwards, because I do struggle with doing a double arm. So if you do the same, you can just do one arm, reach forwards, and then reach back with both arms, and then you can swap over and do the other arm, reach forwards, reach back, and go back and forth between the two, trying to extend those arms forwards the best you can, whether you're doing that single arm or double arm. You feel a bit of a stretch across the back here, sort of underneath the armpit area, maybe around the back a little bit more as you reach forwards. And as you reach back, open up the chest there, you feel a stretch across the chest, maybe the top of the shoulders there a little bit. And then you repeat on the other side. Just doing the best you can there. However that may look for you. Good work, everybody. 5 minutes. Everyone on the best behaviour, Liz is here now. Good work. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. We reach over to one side the best we can. And then coming down and reaching over to the other side. And again, go back and forth between the two. Reaching the best that you can. And as always, if you can't reach over the top of this, you can just come sort of up and forwards a little bit more, or coming just straight across. And that way we're still getting some of it in. And like I was saying earlier, it's less about getting it perfect. It's more about focusing on the outcome of what we want from the session. So even if you're only stretching a little bit, but you're not quite getting in the fully stretched position, you're getting a little bit in, and that's adding to that outcome that we want from the session. Okay, so this next one, we're going to either one hand or both hands. We'll rotate them up and then round like so. And I'm going to show it from the side as well. So arms up the best we can, and then rotate them back, like almost like you're about to throw a ball, and then all the way around, and then go back and forth between the two. And we feel a bit of a deep stretch within that shoulder joint there. Good way, give that a little bit of a shake out, and let's do a couple more rotations round with the shoulders, just to ease out of that movement. Go one way, change direction. And then ease out a bit. Let's have a little hydration break here. I'm going to just go and fill this glass up for myself. And then we'll move on to our spinal mobility next. Okay. So get yourself in a nice comfortable position again. Let's do some mobility in our neck. First of all, so let's start with looking up, looking down, and going back and forth between the two, nice gentle movements. And like I was saying before, some days these are going to feel great, some days they're not going to feel so great. Some days kind of in between, and that's absolutely fine. That's why we do these regularly, to help us go through. And again, like I was saying, with I did a lot of traveling over the weekend, so my body's a bit stiff, a bit achy. It was fairly dehydrated when you come off a plane as well, especially after that length of time. So everything's a little bit, takes a little bit more warming up to get into it. So normally when I'm doing this, looking up and looking down, maybe it takes me like 3 looking up and looking down to get feeling normal, but here it's still feeling a bit on the achy side. But movements like this are going to help, staying hydrated is going to help. And just consistently doing the work to help myself is what's good. Yeah, good. Okay, next time you find yourself looking down, let's take a second to hold it. Well, it'll take more than a second, but we'll hold it there and let gravity take over here. And just let that extend the neck. Or in this case, flex the neck down and just open it up along the back of the neck. So this isn't just folding the head forwards, it's curling the head forwards. So imagine you're curling over, almost like the top of a candy cane. It's kind of how we want it to be. So curled over. When we curl over, each individual vertebrae is doing just a little bit of work, get over, rather than one doing a lot of the work and the others not doing, which is what happens when we do a fold. So we want to curl, not fold. Okay, let's ease out a bit, do a couple of looking up and down. Nice and easy, back and forth. And then the next time you find yourself looking up, let's hold it there. Keep the mouth closed, that's going to help extend the neck. And if you want to extend it a little bit more, you can put your palm on your sternum, that's the bone in between the rib cage here, and just gently pull down with that whilst your mouth is closed. You feel a stretch through the front of the neck there. A little bit of it will be a stretching of the skin, which is fine. But some of it will be the stretching of the neck muscles as well. You can always move it side to side a little bit, see if you can increase the stretch in certain areas. See what feels good. And then let's ease out a bit. Let's do a couple of looking up and downs just to Ease ourselves out of that one. And let's go into our rotation next. So looking side, side, back and forth between the two, nice and gentle and controlled as always. We're not trying to force anything here, we're just trying to do a nice, simple, easy movement that is within our range of motion that we feel comfortable in. Again, the outcome is more important than the perfection of each exercise. We want to get as good as we can rotating side to side, but just doing the movement is taking us most of the way there in terms of helping us to mobilize. Okay, next time you find yourself looking to the left, let's hold it there. And if you want to, you can take the left arm, you can place it on the clavicle here, the collarbone. That's the bone that runs between the sternum where we put a hand on the last exercise and up into the shoulder joint. That's the little collarbone there. And we can gently move it slightly down towards our armpit. And you'll feel a bit of an extra stretch. Potentially, you may need to play around with the position of your hands and that. If you get it right, you'll feel a bit of a stretch, sort of between that collarbone and sort of just below the ear area. Or maybe just below the jaw even. Nice, easy movement. Very easy stretch here. Elongating it out. Good, let's ease out of it. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And then the next time you find yourself looking to the right, holding it there. And then if you want to as well, you can put the right hand on the left collarbone and gently pull it down. And again, have a play around with it if you're not quite feeling it. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get in the right position. But you'll know when you do, because it'll feel good stretch in that neck area. And keep the mouth closed as well, that helps to increase that stretch too. These muscles are connected to that jaw, so when the mouth is closed, it's further away from that collarbone, and therefore increasing the stretch. Which is harder to feel when you're trying to talk at the same time. Okay, ease out a bit again, looking left and right. And then let's go into our lateral flexion. So easy to one side, ear to one shoulder, right ear to right shoulder, back and forth between the two. And you may find in this one, you even get a few more clicks in the neck area, which is generally okay, as long as it's not painful. Generally having those small amount of clicks is fine. You feel there's a fair bit more tightness in this one. That is perfectly normal if you are feeling that extra tightness in this exercise. Most of us will do, just from our day-to-day activities, not really using this movement too much. Good, okay, next time you find your left ear on your left shoulder, let's hold it there. And then we've got our two options. We can take one arm and drop it down. That's option number one. So if your left ear is on your left shoulder, you can drop your right arm down, or you can put the arm behind you there. Either way, it's going to increase that stretch, but in slightly different ways. Have a play around, find what works for you, unless you've already found it in the past. And just feel that stretch there. Ease out a bit. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And then bring it right here on the right shoulder. Drop that left arm down or behind you. And increase that stretch there. Particularly feel it on this side for myself today. Let's ease out a bit. Do a couple of lefts and rights. Nice easy movements, and then moving into the rest of our spine. So this is where we go extension and flexion. I'm going to go to the side as well. It'll take me a couple to get into it. So we want to extend through, flex down, curling over like a prawn, arching back like a high jumper. And if you can't do it by pulling yourself through using your legs or the frame of the chair you're in, you can always use the backrest a little bit and just sit up straight and arch back the best you can, and then curl over forwards. And remember what I said about the neck, we want that the same here. We want to curl over, not bend over. So curl the spine over. That way, each and every vertebrae is doing a little bit of movement rather than one vertebrae doing all the work. So that's where we get the issues come in generally. And don't be afraid here to, be a little bit more animated with it if you feel like you can get into those positions. So if you want to curl over more, curl over more if it feels good, if you're not causing yourself any pain or discomfort. And arch back more if you feel like it's good. Sometimes it takes you a little bit to get into it. Once you are, you're flowing nice and easy, nice and gentle, back and forth between the two. And just helping that spine to mobilize, sending the blood, the nutrients, everything it needs to stay healthy, as well as keeping everything mobile, keeping the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, all of that healthy too. Let's now go into some rotation. So rotate around to one side, around to the other, and back and forth between the two. You might be seeing that I'm using my arms in between my legs here just to assist. I'm using my wheel. I don't know, everyone here is in a manual wheelchair, but we can use the chair we're in, maybe it's the backrest to help pull ourselves around. But don't worry too much about really putting yourself around the best you can, just nice, gentle movements, back and forth between the two. The movement is more important than the how far you go. Let's do a little hold here as well. So next time you find yourself going around to the left, let's hold it there. And just relax into that position. Start to breathe into it as well. You may find as you breathe in, your body wants to rotate back to the center, but as you breathe out, you may be able to go a little bit further, but just go with what feels normal. Don't try and force anything here. Just nice, easy hold. Feel like just increasing that stretch. Do so, but only do so if you feel comfortable with it. And ease out a bit. And let's do a couple of lefts and rights before we go into the other side. But when you're ready to, let's go around to the right, holding that position there. And the same rules apply here. Nice, easy stretch position. Let the breathing help guide you through it. As you breathe in, you may want to come out of it a little bit. As you breathe out, you can maybe rotate a little bit more, but whatever feels natural and what feels normal, that's good. And if you can't feel this area, then That's very similar to myself. Then what we do is do it based on resistance. When you start to feel that resistance, that means you're probably going to be getting a good amount of stretch in there. So just stop in that position to see how it feels. If your body feels like it can open up more, you can maybe go a little bit more, but just nice, easy, don't overdo it here. Then let's ease out of it. Okay, we'll do some lateral flexion next, which way reach down to one side, reach down to the other, and just nice and easy back and forth between the two. And essentially what we're doing here is very similar to when we're curling forwards. When we're flexing forwards, we're trying to flex over to the side. So that means we want to curl over, not just fold over. So I can kind of show you a bit of difference. So curling over is like this, folding over is like this. So there's a bit of a difference between it. And again, with the curling over, it's where each individual vertebrae just does a little bit of work to help curl you over. Whereas a fold is where one or two do all of the work, and that's what puts the strain. And that's one of the most common ways that people injure themselves when it comes to their back. When it comes to, especially when it comes to stuff like heavy lifting, they fold their spine in one particular area. That's why we like to bend when we teach manual handling. We bend with the knees and all that kind of stuff, because most people don't have a strong enough spine to support the weight they're lifting. And although most of us aren't doing any lifting from the ground in terms of squatting down and picking something up, we are doing movements that can be the same, whether that's just picking up something from the floor, you know, if we've got paralyzed muscles or weakened muscles for whatever reason, they are weakened, so they aren't going to be as strong. So even picking up something as small as a pen off the floor can, you know, if we want to make sure that we've got a nice mobile spine, that all the vertebrae are working together, and that's going to help protect the spine for as long as it can. Yeah, well, let's go into a whirlpool now. That's where we're combining some of them together. So just going around, nice, easy movements. Let's change direction. Let's give that a little bit of a shake out there. Let's have another hydration break and then we'll move on to the next bit here. No, like I mentioned already today, spasms are quite bad just from all the traveling I've been doing. So please excuse me if I suddenly do a crazy move halfway through demonstration. I will let you know what not to copy and what to copy. But just you guys mostly know what you're doing here. So we're going to start in a nice, easy, relaxed position, and then we're going to start with our arms together. We're going to reach up towards the sky, and there's the spasm coming in already. There we go. Up the best we can, out and around, and then back to that starting position. So that's nice and easy to begin with. Up, out and around, and then bringing it back together. One extra note here, if you can, try and keep the elbows together as you bring them up the best you can. Up, out and around. That's just going to increase that stretch a little bit. I know it's not always easy to get into this position, but we do the best we can here. I'm trying to keep it together here, reaching up, out and around. Good. Yeah, let's change direction, so bring it up and down through the middle. There goes the spasms again. Up, around, palms together, down through the middle. And again. Good. Okay, we're going to go back to the first movement we did there, but when we come out and around to this position, we're going to rotate around to the one side, rotate around to the other side, and then back to the middle. We start from here again. We just go up, out, and around to the left, to the right, and back to the middle. Let's go through that again. Reaching up, out, around, rotate one side, rotate the other, back to the middle, up, out, rotate. Good work. Do it in your own time, in your own pace here. There's no rush. Just what feels good here to get up and out. Maybe if you want to stay in one position, maybe you get a good stretch here or here, whatever it may be. You maybe can sit in a position for a second, just feel the stretch, whatever feels good to you. Let's go for that. So I'll let you experiment with that a little bit. Need those rotations in particular. I'm feeling it quite a bit as I rotate round to the left, so the left chest and shoulder is getting quite a bit of a stretch. I like to just hold it there for a second or two, and then go on to the other side. And if you're struggling with balance as well, you can always put one arm down as you rotate round, or the other one. There's plenty of options there for you to make this exercise your own. Keep it going. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is add in another little bit. So we come up through the middle like we did before. We'll rotate to the left, but instead of rotating back again, we're going to seesaw. So the left arm drops down, the right arm comes up, and then it seesaws back. So the right arm comes onto the lap, left arm points towards the sky, and then it comes down, and we're going to thread the needle through the side there. We did quite a bit of this last week. But we're going to repeat it here. So we're going to go on to the other side now. So up through the middle, out, and around. Let me rotate. You stay there. I'm going to rotate around so you can see it from here. Rotate to the right. The right arm drops down behind, left arm comes up above the head. Then the left arm comes down to the lap. Right arm points up towards the sky. And then the right arm comes down through the gap that you created with your left arm. And then come through here. And then eases out again. Back to the start position, palms together, reaching up, out, and pausing at halfway there. Rotate to the left. Left arm down, right arm up. Comes back again, right arm onto the lap, left arm points towards the sky. And then comes down and threads the needle through. Ease out of it there, back to the starting position, reaching up, out, pausing at halfway, rotating to the right. Right arm down, left arm up. Seesawing back, left arm onto your lap, right arm pointing towards the sky. And then coming down, through that gap. and easing out of it. I'll let you do a couple more in your own time and pace. So just feel it out. If there's any points that you want to stop, and just give that a little extra stretch. But just go through those movements there. Remembering the seesaw, the threading the needle. That extension the best you can as you go through these movements. Feel those stretches as we go through it. Feel the mobility, doing the best that we can in a comfortable manner. Best that we can do here. Make the one you're on now, the last one. Wherever you're at with it. Good, okay, using out of that, and let's go when you guys have finished those movements. No rush though if you're still going. Okay, looks like everybody I can see has caught up to us there. Let's go into some more breathing and movements here. So we'll start with both our hands up. We'll push one forwards. Breathe out as you do so. Breathe in as you put it back in. And then repeating on this other side. Breathe out as you push out. Breathe in as you put in. Easy movements here. Okay, let's extend it a little bit more, reach the hand forwards. You can lean on your lap with the other arm, pull it back in. Changing over, reaching forwards, reaching back. Yeah, let's extend it a little bit more now. So as you reach forwards and consider coming straight back, come up and over. And if you can't come up and over, you can come up and around. Whatever you can do here as you bring it back. Just make it a little bit extra on both sides. Feel that stretch through the full range of motion. Really reach that arm forwards in a safe but stretching manner. Up and over. Feel the stretch right the way around the back. And over to the other side as well. Yeah, bring it back into the middle. Let's do the same movements now, but let's go out to the side. Bring it in. Just starting off nice and gentle. We'll work into the other movements eventually. We're just going to start nice, easy movements. Breathe out as you push out. Breathe in as you pull in. Yeah, let's extend it a little bit more. And so you can always hold on with the other hand, but reach out and bringing it back in, over to the other side, reach out and bring it back in. We can include some neck mobility in there as well by bringing the ear down onto the arm as we reach out. Let's make this one a bit extra as well. So as you come out, come up and over the top, down to the opposite side. So repeat on the other side, reach out, up and over. If you can't come up and over, come up and across the front, then down to the other side. I always liken this to reaching out and pulling the seatbelt up and over in the most elaborate way you can, and clicking it into position on the other side. Good. Let's do some shoulder rotations there just to finish off that. Add a bit more of a gentle landing, change direction. There good. Let's start to go into our meditation phase here. Now today we're going to do our body scan. That's where we go from the top of our head all the way down to the tip of our toes. I'll be guiding you every step of the way here and essentially helping you to visualize your body the best we can, listen to it and get any feedback we can from it. So to do so, we just start with some nice deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Do that a few times here just to help relax yourself into position. And we can first of all bring our focus into the top of our head. Now with each and every body part, we're not necessarily trying to fix anything here. We're just trying to observe, see how things are, see if anything's changed from when we did this last time, which was a couple of weeks ago. And just notice things in our body. The more we listen to our body, the more it tells us about what we need to do, areas we need to focus on, any areas that we need to pay attention to, for whatever reason it may be. And just to understand how our body works and how it feels and how you might feel in relation to it. So starting off the top of the head, as I said, now we're bringing our focus down into our forehead. Now with any of these positions, you can wiggle it by itself, you can poke it with your hands. Obviously don't poke your eye out, but You can give your forehead a rub, for example. Just notice how it feels. Is it feeling good? Is it feeling achy? Is it whatever it may be? Just making a note of it and then moving on. So move down now into the eye sockets area, and I'll give you an example here. If they're feeling heavy, that might be because you're feeling tired, you might need more sleep, or they might be feeling good, which means it's a good indication that your sleep is going well. So just checking in with something that you might not necessarily check in with otherwise. And that's why we scan the whole of our body, which is where we're going on to next, is into our cheeks and our mouth area. Again, you can give your jaw a bit of a move, see how things are. As we move now into our neck. So we've obviously done a lot of mobility in our neck today, some stretching too. So you might have good range of motion, but it also might feel a little bit tired, maybe a little bit fatigued from the movement that we've and the stretching that we've done. So although good movement, maybe a little bit on the achy side, but that's okay. We'll settle down. That's all part of the exercise that we do. Next, we're going to go down into our shoulders. We can give these a rotation like we've been doing throughout the session, or a shrug, and just notice how they feel. And this is particularly pertinent to myself today because, as I mentioned several times throughout the video, after my travel, I'm feeling a bit achy, a bit spasmy, more than usual, a little bit dehydrated. Trying to fix all those things, is what I'm trying to do, but also there is still, it's going to take time, to get through that. So just noticing how it feels and just paying attention over the week for myself on how it feels in those shoulder joints. Coming down now through our arms into our elbows. First of all, you can extend and flex your arms, see how they are. If there's any clunkiness, discomfort, or if it feels particularly good or indifferent, whatever it is, make a mental note and moving down onto our wrists. Move those wrists around and then coming down onto our fingers, giving those a wiggle if you need to or can. And then bring the focus from the fingertips all the way up the arms into the chest area. And we go through our spine. So again, we moved our spine today, but just notice how it feels after that session. Again, it may be feeling very mobile, but also very achy. Those things are a sign that you've done some stretching and some mobility work. So that's absolutely fine to feel those things. Let's move down now through into our hips. And whether this is an area that you can feel or can't feel, we're just going to put as much focus into those hips as we can. If you can wiggle them by themselves, feel free to do so. Or if you can wiggle them a little bit with your arms, or just seeing what comes back from focusing on that area can really help to understand what's going on. So we move down now through our legs into our knees. And again, if you can move your knees, then feel free to move the knees and see how they are. But if not, just put the focus in there, put the attention onto the knees, see if you get anything back. Any feedback is data that we can use to help us to see where we're at. So just notice how it is. Down through our lower legs now into our ankles, and the same as the knees, just putting as much focus and attention in there. If you can move it or wiggle it, feel free to do so. But if not, just seeing what comes back from giving it some attention. So for myself, when I focus on my feet, I get a little bit of a tingly sensation come back, and just noticing, okay, that's the normal tingly sensation. There's nothing extra, nothing different, nothing weird that will require me to put some extra focus on that area. So I know that may be an area that I don't need to worry about too much at the moment. I regularly check it anyway, but just I know that it's doing all right. Okay, now we're at the tip of our toes here. What we're going to do, we'll take 3 deep breaths in together. We'll start from the tip of our toes all the way to the top of the head. I want to imagine that you're filling up with light as you do so. So as you breathe in, the light's filling from the toes all the way top of the head, and as you breathe out, it releases out through your mouth. So are we ready? All together, breathing in, breathing out. 2 more times, breathing in, breathing out. Last one now, breathing in. Breathing out. Return that breathing to normal. When you're ready to, you can start to open up your eyes. Bring yourself back to the room if you need to give yourself a wiggle, whatever it may be, as we bring today's session to a close. Excellent work, everybody. Thank you again for joining me.